Hello there, I'm Isabelle, and welcome to another 3D printing vlog. If you're new here or don't remember, last November I bought a 3D printer and I've been slowly learning how to 3D model on my iPad so I can 3D print my own designs. I also purchased this little display shelf that I want to fill with little figurines I design, model, print, and paint, which is what I'll be working on today. So grab a drink of your choice, get comfy, and let's get into it. In my last vlog, I started working on this set of little animals wearing wizard cloaks. I've already made a cat. As a matter of fact, I've made multiple cats. I also made some progress on the frog and was almost done working on it, but I felt like she needed a little witch hat. And the one I had made kind of looked like a settler's hat from the front, so I reworked the shape and I think it looks a lot better now. So I 3D printed the new version of the model. She had a little boo-boo when printing, but I fixed it with a bit of epoxy clay and then sanded all the pieces. All done, let's paint these two frogs. For this, I'm using the paint I already have at home, which is a mix of craft paint and professional acrylics. I used to paint a lot on canvases, but I don't really do anymore, unless a friend or family member gets married or buys a house, then they get a painting. That's my rule. If you invite me to your wedding or a housewarming party, you get a painting. Anyways, I've seen a lot of people use model paint or airbrush their 3D prints, and I kind of just remembered that I do have an old airbrush, but I never tried to use it, and I don't even know if it works or if I have all the parts for it. So I guess I would have to try it out sometimes, but I feel like it's a lot to set up and clean. I don't know, I didn't actually do any research on this, it's just my preconceived opinion, so I could be totally wrong. So if anyone watching uses an airbrush, let me know if it's worth it or not, and if it's faster than using a paintbrush. I'm guessing since the paint is more liquid, it would take more coats, but maybe I'm wrong. I usually need to do at least 3 coats of paint with a paintbrush to get a good even coverage. I wonder if model or hobby paints would have better coverage, because that could save me a good chunk of time. But either way, I already have plenty of paint, and I'd rather not buy anymore before I use up what I have. But I'm curious to know how model paint or airbrushing compares to my mixture of craft and fancy paints. So if you have used any of them before, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And anyways, my goal is not to get a super perfect paint job. I didn't even bother priming the pieces before painting. These will just sit on my little display shelf in my room, so I'm not super worried about the paint chipping off or anything. If I were selling them, I would obviously put more effort in it, but for now this is just for fun and for practice. Anyways, I finished painting the first frog, let's paint the second one. I painted the head pink, then the chin a baby pink, then painted the cheeks in red. It's really giving Pikachu vibes. For the eyes, I wanted to try something different, so I drew a little heart pupil with a pencil to use as a guide. Then fill in the shape with paint. Then I painted the cloak purple and the little flower charm in white and green. And she's all done. What do you think? Off camera, I glued all the pieces together, and that's it for the frogs. Let me know which is your favorite one between these two. Alrighty, on to the next design, which would be the bear or the bunny. And I tried 3D sculpting the two, and it didn't go so well. They were looking a little curves, especially the bunny. I was having a hard time sculpting them and also matching the style of the two other animals. I think my concept sketch was very simple, and when I made the cat, I added a bit more detail. And since I want them all to work as a set, I followed that style for the frog as well. But now I can't figure out how to make that style work for the bunny and the bear. Maybe I just need to spend more time on it and eventually I'll figure it out. But for now, I'm just gonna scrap those two. And since I want to make this a set, we need at least 3 designs. 2 is not enough. So I started working on this duck, but because the cloak is different from the 2 others, it doesn't really match. So I feel like the duck could be a bonus character because it doesn't really fit the set. I was also having trouble aligning the face properly and I got frustrated and just left it there and haven't touched it since. But I would like to finish it eventually, so maybe in the next vlog. So I decided to make a dragon instead, but I wanted it to be cute. So it's a little baby dragon. I didn't do any concept sketch for this, but I was going for a mix of Charmander and Spyro. I cut the model into pieces so it's easier to paint, and now it's ready to be printed. So as you saw previously with the frog, I've been having some problems with my 3D prints. I'm not sure exactly why, but I was experiencing a lot of print failures or partial print failures. A lot of my prints were either not printing at all or getting weird defects. I was also having trouble with some of my prints sticking to the FET, and I was having supports that were either breaking or just not printing right. I watch a lot of troubleshooting videos, and most people said my problems were caused by one or multiple factors, which was kinda helpful, but not at the same time. So I spent about a week trying to calibrate and fine-tune my printer setting, and I'm not sure if it was one thing or multiple things, but I recalibrated my build plate, started heating the resin vat before starting the print, printed a couple of cones of calibration to fine-tune the exposure time, and updated my slicing software. And that seems to have fixed the majority of my issues. So now that I have my settings calibrated, let's print the dragon. It printed really well, except this time I made a boo-boo and some parts were cut off because I set them too low in the slicing software, so that's totally my fault. But no biggie, it's barely gonna show once it's sanded. I tested to see if the pieces all fit together correctly, and already this little baby looks so cute. Before painting, I'll need to sand off the support marks. There's a lot of it on the back of the head, a bit on the bottom of the wings, and underneath the tail. So let's sand everything real quick. I say real quick, but it took more than an hour. For the cloak, I'll paint it a dark red. And for the color and trim, I use a darker shade of red. It looks black on camera, but it's a very dark red. I'll do multiple coats of orange on the head. When I picked the colors of this dragon, I was going for Charmander vibes. But when I was mixing the paints, I realized the orange I picked really looked like cheddar cheese. And now that it's in my head, I can't unsee it. Oh boy, I made a cheese dragon. Please like and subscribe if you like the cheese dragon. I also got orange paint on my nails and it wouldn't come off, and it just looked like I had Cheetos powder on my nails all week. So I think I'll name this little dragon Cheetos. I painted the horns brown and used the same color for the inside of the wings. Then I painted the head scales in a slightly darker shade of orange. Then I painted the spikes on the tail in white. I also painted the teeth and the spikes on the head in white, but forgot to record that. Then let's paint those ridiculously huge pupils. Now that I'm looking at it, it reminds me of Puss in Boots from Shrek when he makes the big cute eyes. I added a bit of orange to the eyes so it wouldn't just be a big black circle, and then added a small white dot on both eyes. Now I just need to glue the pieces together. And all done. So what do you think of Cheetos? I think she turned out super cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. And that completes the wizard set. Which one is your favorite? I think the cats and the frog turned out super cute, but the baby dragon definitely sparks an immense amount of joy in my little heart. I love Cheetos. This is so cute. And that was all that I had to show you today. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time.